Hey guys, Zach here from Move Outdoors, and on today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I take venison lung from my freshly harvested deer and turn it into safe, simple, and healthy dog treats. Okay. A couple things to look out for before we get started. If the lungs look unhealthy in any way, just leave them in the woods. It's not worth the risk of potentially making your dog sick or making yourself sick by handling these. So if the lungs don't look healthy in any way, just throw them. Leave them in the woods, leave them for the coyotes. Number two, I only really recommend doing this with animals shot with archery equipment or hit with a firearm nowhere near the lungs. It's not really worth the risk of shrapnel from your bullet getting into your animal's system. That could be an expensive vet bill. All right, so now that you got a healthy set of lungs out of the woods from your freshly harvested deer, the first thing you're going to want to do is wash those lungs really well. You want to get any grass, leaves, twigs, whatever, stomach content, especially if you accidentally punctured the gut, off those lungs. So give them a real good washing and a rinse. And honestly, I like to soak them then for about 24 hours in some water. No salt, just water, just to draw some of the blood out and some of the contaminants out.
All right, so now that the lungs are nice and clean, you're going to bring them over here to the cutting board, and the first thing you're going to do is clean up the lungs. You're going to get rid of anything that is not lung material, and I'd also recommend getting rid of the shot path, particularly because on the inside of that there's going to be a lot of blood clotting and potential contaminants. Once the non-lung material and shot pathways are removed, you can begin to slice the lungs into 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick slices. Depending on the size of your dog, you might want to go slightly thicker or slightly thinner. Remember, these are going to shrink when you cook them. After slicing the lungs to your desired thickness, we're going to take them back to the sink and wash them once more just to make sure that they're nice and clean and there's no contamination.
All right, so now that we've washed these for a second time, we're going to bring them back over and pat them dry. Now that the lungs have been patted dry, it's time to grab the trays from your dehydrator or smoker or a cooling rack on a baking sheet if you're using an oven like I am, because I don't have access to a smoker or dehydrator. We're going to do the lung just like you would jerky. We're going to lay it flat in one single stack here, and we're going to turn the oven on to anywhere between 200 and 250 degrees is what I use for the oven. For smokers and dehydrators, use what setting you would typically use with jerky. Remember, low and slow is the goal here. You don't want to burn them. Now would be the time to season with dog-safe seasonings. Make sure you look those up. I prefer to not season these at all. My dog still loves them. And now that the oven is warmed up or your smoker or dehydrator is ready, we're just going to stick it in. And for an oven timer here at 225 degrees, it takes about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to cook the lungs completely. All right, the lungs are done here. Let's pull them out of the oven. And check. You don't want any real pink left. You want them to be a nice kind of mute brown color and crispy. They should be soft on the inside, but have a nice outer kind of crust to them that gives it a crunchy texture that the dogs really like. If you don't have that nice exterior crunch, I'd recommend putting it back in for a little bit longer, and especially if you have any pink left, I'd put it in for longer. All right, now that the lung is cooled down to a safe handling temperature, let's have our taste testers see how it is.
Take it. Was it good?
I think that gets an 11 out of 10 barks. All right, guys, that's the end of today's video. If you liked the video, please be sure to give us a like and consider subscribing. Also, it helps us a ton if you'd share this video with other dog lovers just like yourself.